Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. My name is Rotimi Itai, and this is the World Teachers Day edition. So I'd like to say Happy World Teachers Day to all our teachers out there, formal teachers, informal teachers, and of course, all our educators, practitioners who are doing great jobs in educating and empowering our students out there. Happy Teachers Day. And we're streaming from Lagos, Nigeria to West Africa to Africa and the entire world. This is the Good Morning Education Show, and we are excited that you're joining us today. Remember, it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. We believe that as you join us and you communicate with us and you chat with us and you connect with us, I believe that we're all going to learn together. As we share together, we will also grow together. Do not make a mistake about this. This is the best education show on the face of the planet. And we believe that as you join us today, you have one or two things to learn from. We have fantastic analysts and experts who join us from time to time on the show to talk about their thoughts, their own perspective about the subject matter of the day, and of course, the individuals that we respect because of their views and their exposure and their background, and they make the show more a robust one and a comprehensive one. And of course, if you do have questions while we have conversation on the show, please do not hesitate to ask your questions. We will share the questions live. We will try to treat the questions as well. And we don't stop there. We also welcome contributions from our tribe members and from the audience on the other side. And when you make your contributions, we will also ensure that we, what will I call it now? We'll ensure that we show and share, and if possible, as time permits, read your contributions on the show. It's not a show for one person, it's a show for everyone. And the Good Morning Education Show runs from Mondays to Sundays. And Mondays to Fridays, you can catch us 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And then on Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. On Sundays, yes, Sundays, I say on Sundays, we're there. 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's always a wonderful time on the show, great time on the show, awesome time on the show. And I want you to be a part of it. And I want you to tell everyone, to tell everyone, to tell everyone about the Good Morning Education Show. Subscribe to the channel and on YouTube, follow us on Facebook across our platforms, and catch us on Instagram. We also have an Instagram handle at Good Morning Education Show. And without wasting much time, we're going to start. On the show today, we will be starting with conversations from the headlines, right? We have headline news. And we're going to start with that. And from there, we move on to other aspects of the show. So we're going to start with the first headline. And the first headline says, still on World Teachers Day, let me welcome Gideon Essien. Gideon Essien, congratulations. Happy World Teachers Day. Fellow blessing to you. Yes. We're going to start with welfare. Welfare training, ICT gap resonates at World Teachers Day. A lot of people have been having conversations even from the weekend before today. And that was last weekend. Conversations have been happening. We've had conversations on Saturday, Sunday. We've had conversations yesterday, some conferences by colleagues. Also taking place from the 3rd, I think, to the 5th. We had conferences from 4th also as well. Excuse me about that. Sorry about that. And I'd like to say that it's true that one of the concerns in the profession is welfare. Teacher welfare is something that has always continually been in the news, especially when we're talking about reward for teachers. Being a teacher is no small feat. It's not something that we should reduce to just anything, anyhow kind of thing. We believe that teachers actually are due of reward here on earth, as opposed to the maxim that people normally say that the teacher's reward is in heaven. And if at all it's a reward that's in heaven, but the teacher's pay should also be on earth. And so we believe that welfare, and welfare is not just payment. I think that that's another angle that we can actually have as an agenda that can be driven. There are other aspects of welfare, conditions of work, policies around work, many, many things make up welfare, So sometimes it's easy for people to just think about welfare like, oh my God, we're talking about salaries. Um, it's just not coming to my head, but the truth about it is that we need to talk about welfare. Let's revisit welfare. If possible, look at creative ways to make the teacher welfare a lot more with quality and enhancement. I believe that things will change and the teachers will feel rewarded or feel appreciated with a better kind of reward. And then, of course, training. Training is something that we cannot overemphasize. Teacher training is something that consistently has to happen in the sector. It has to happen in the sector because of course, we know. Talk about talk about teacher training. You find out that you cannot run away from some things. You can't run away from some things. That's what I believe. You know, and the teachers themselves need to develop themselves. Best practices, modern methodology, current tools, resources, all those things are things that we must take our time to empower our people and develop them accurately and adequately to be able to perform on their expected roles. And of course, we all know that there's the ICT gap. There's so much gap, that needs to be filled. And these are many more things that we need to talk about. You get, so I believe that needs to happen. And I believe that it will happen if we have a lot of people joining voices to say these things, And teachers should also understand that we are with you and we believe in you, we appreciate you, we respect your work, we respect your input and impact, and we believe and hope that as things unfold, of course, the times sometimes can be challenging. That I want teachers to know that they should hang in there, and of course, they must also become resourceful individuals to be able to push through um, their profession and get the rewards they deserve. So let's get to the headline, or second headline. AUN president advises federal government on problem-solving education. AUN president advises federal government on problem-solving education. I like that. Education that is at the base of problem solving, a functional education, education that addresses the needs of society, education that empowers people and that does not postpone, solutions indefinitely, getting our hands to give a tryout on the things that plague us the most and seeing how education can. That's a very good one. That's a very good one. And we hope that the regulators, administrators, and the government is paying attention to this. Then the next headline is from the OAU. I wish Finn was here. This is OAU in the news. So Finn is always talking about OAU. So let's see. Panel probe OAU healthcare operations. ASU. Or panel should probe the healthcare operations in OAU. This is from ASU. Of course, Obafemi Awolowo University is also what we mean or refer to as OAU. And they've been in the news lately, especially with the closure that took place over a student's death. I believe that it's important that we showcase transparency in a lot of things that happens within the operations and the service delivery of our higher institution. They owe that much to their clients, which is the student, by extension, the families. They owe that much to the sector. They owe that much to society, because we are stakeholders in this. And anywhere we have people, I think that anywhere people gather, anywhere we have people being hosted, there is a lot of caution that we should not throw to the wind. We must make sure that we do the needful. We have the capacity for the number of people flocking into our environment and facility and organization. We have the capacity to protect them. We have the capacity to take care of them. We have the capacity for emergency preparedness. These are many more are things that will help us have better experience, better exposure, and the likes. So we're going to go to the next headline, and that is on the Olympics. NOC, National Olympic Committee, takes Olympic Value Education Program to universities. Nigerian Olympic Committee or National Olympic Committee is really trying to see how they can cascade all this in the shortest possible time. So that's very good. We'll have that also as something that must permit also to the primary school, to the secondary school level, because also, about Olympics, it takes a longer time for preparation. If we want to win medals, we need also people who can be groomed into this, nurtured into this, and with time, enjoy. All right. And the next headline says, Plateau governor assures teachers of improving welfare and infrastructure. This is coming from the Plateau governor. Is assuring teachers of improving welfare, infrastructure. And that's a very good one for governors to also stand and commit themselves, because for you to assure, that's like a promise, commit themselves to the welfare and the improvement of infrastructure, so that teachers will not find their profession, will not find their job a horrible one, or something like, knowledge transfer becoming a daunting task. It's almost like, you're asking them to do the impossible. So this is a very good one coming from Plateau State, and the governor is assuring teachers of improving welfare. Good morning, KK. Good morning. How are you today?
I'm excellent. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's good to be here. Happy Teachers Day.
Fantastic. So I was just reading a headline from the Plateau governor. Is assuring teachers of improving welfare. Do you have any comments on that?
I mean, the first thing is that all these assurances, and I just wish that very soon, instead of assurances, people actually come out and say, oh, you know what, during the course of this year, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this, and we assure you that there's so much more in the works. Just trust us. Happy Teachers Day. We see the work that you're doing. I think that would be great. Instead of all these assurances. And then next year, October 5th, we have a new set with no accountability as to what has been done, between year one and year two. So yeah, that those are. But I mean, it's great that they're thinking about it. I just wish it wasn't so political.
And this is what Teachers Day. We know wishes do come true. So you've made a wish.
Amen.
Yes. We hope that that particular wish comes true. All right. So we just have the conversation of the day. Let's start off with the conversation of the day. And our conversation, interestingly, is almost like we're writing a letter, but then we're calling an attention to the governor. Excuse me,
Interesting.
Mr. Governor, can I talk to you? That's That's more like it. Okay, so if you were to take a shot at that, what if you had the governor's attention? What would your conversation be? What would you be asking for? What would you deliberate on? What would be your statement of, is it thesis or
Ah, hmm. If I had to talk to Mr. Governor, um, I'd like to hold his hand first of all and take him around the classrooms in our state, um, the private schools and the public schools. I'd like to take him there. Then I'll sit him in front of the internet and show him what it should look like, so that we can have like a versus this versus this. Which would you choose? And something that I would also say to him is that teachers, as much as the children, are equally important. The teachers that we have outside of this country are not any more important than the ones that we have here in this country. And so Mr. Governor needs to open up his eyes and see that teachers are not being treated well. Teachers are not being appreciated. Teachers are owed salary. Teachers are treated like they're the bottom of the pecking order. And that's problematic. Because if you're treated that way consistently, you kind of start to feel like you are that person. And that's not the truth. If you're also in an environment where you're not appreciated, your flaws are broken, you don't have, like you mentioned, right, the tools and the materials to do the work that needs to be done, then how important is this work that I'm supposed to be doing if I don't even have what I need to do it? So we begin to think that way, we begin to feel that way. And I'm not talking about those unique set of people that nothing affects. I'm talking about the general populace and how just what you see day in, day out affects your psyche. And so those are the first things that I would say to Mr. Governor and do with Mr. Governor. Just help him see that. And then next, I'll tell him, you know what, let's create one model school, not for political reasons, but for the simple fact that the children in our states deserve better. The children in Nigeria deserve better. And if we can just create those pilot programs and fund them like we should be funding. Education is making a lot of money. That's the truth. Beyond external funding, even internally generated revenue in education is a lot. Um, there's allocations as well, both federal and state levels that come into education. What's happening with them, right? So those are the sort of things that I would ask Mr. Governor. Those are the sort of things that I would say, excuse me, sir, let me show you something. Let me ask you something. But yes, that those are the things that I would do in terms of starting the conversation with Mr. Governor.
When you said, I'll say excuse me, sir, I remember Sound Sultan's video, Jagbajantis. And like, you know, say excuse me, any question.
You know? Absolutely.
Welcome, Olushola Lumide. That's a lovely, interesting start. Good morning, Olushola.
Good morning, Rochimi. Good morning, Kiki. Nice to see you here once again.
Same
Good morning
here.
to our tribe members out there. Yes.
So
It's the Teachers' Day.
Yes. So we have a conversation, and Kiki has given us a very good intro. So the topic is excuse me, Mr. Governor. And so I was asking Kiki, what would you do, or what would you say, what would you request if you had the attention of the governor? And I think I would like to hear your own thoughts as well. So if you had the attention of the governor, probably you were in the same room. What would your conversation be?
Conversation with regard to teachers.
Well,
I
of course,
guess.
it has education, but then you could also look at it as broad.
Well, for me, because we are celebrating teachers today, I think respect and honor is a need, which I think a lot of teachers have been deprived of. I think my take would be that can the profession be more dignified, respected, and raised up? And that doesn't just have to be a issue of a social or psychological massaging alone, but there should be also in terms of remuneration. Um, the teaching profession should be looked at with respect and should be handled as such. So for me, I would tell Mr. Governor, please, we shouldn't muzzle the mouth of the ox that is treading out the corn. So if our children are going to be helped, which we hope and we expect that they should be helped and well tutored, I think the factory or the incubator shouldn't be left to decay. We should honor them, we should respect them, they should be dignified, and we should also pay them well. When they are happy, when they can meet their own needs, when they are living above the poverty level, I think it gives them a better status, which I think also translates to better productivity. So for me, I would tell the governor, can we give teachers VIP treatment? Thank you.
All right, VIP treatment. That's a good one. I feel like I'm a teacher as well, so probably Mr. Governor will extend that to me. All right. So still on this conversation, I want us to use this opportunity. Yes, we might not be in the same room, but I want us to articulate the things that we feel that the government should really be focused on, especially in developing and advancing education. You know, the education sphere is such, like KK gave us in the introduction, such a very important one. It's actually a multifaceted kind of sector. What should be the focus of our governor and our governors across the state? So we're not just talking about Lagos State, we're talking about every governor. Of course, we know peculiarities do exist, but I feel that there should be certain things that we can say in 2021, or right at this moment, this is what the focus should be on. I'm going to ask KK to start with that answer. And while I welcome Titi to the show. Titi, welcome to the show. Good morning. Well, happy What's Teacher's Day.
Good morning, everyone. My cousin, long time. Good morning.
Cousin.
You still remember
Welcome.
She's my cousin forever.
Good morning.
Cousins don't change.
I was thinking that has gone with the summer.
No.
Okay, so over to you, KK.
Yeah, back to your question. What is the one thing that we should focus on right now? And you know, as you were asking that question, my mind immediately flashed to the outage we experienced yesterday with WhatsApp, with Facebook, with Instagram, with Oculus, and everything that has to do with Makunduka, as it is, you know, that my mind flashed to that, right? And realized the fact that for a long time, some of us have been telling business people, you can't just rely on social media as a marketing strategy, as your marketing tool. You need to diversify. You need to move onto platform that is not borrowed. You know, you need to just move. And in my head, I thought about the teachers, and I thought about what happened in 2020 when the pandemic shut down everything. How prepared were our teachers? You know, not a lot were prepared. Some were prepared, but not a lot were prepared. And not just teachers now, but even schools in general. I know several schools, not even one, they didn't open at all till fiscal school was given the nod to open.
Mm-hmm.
And so in thinking about this, in my head, I'm like, how do we even prepare them for today? Because the today that we live in, I see that not a lot of teachers are even there yet. When we prepare them for today, then it's easier to prepare them for tomorrow. Because at least we're not coming from years and years and years back, but we're closer to the future. And so we need to look at the teachers that we currently have and do a skills audit. We need to do a skills audit. We need to do a mindset audit, right? Because sometimes you might be given the skills, but if you don't have the mindset, and you're never going to use it, you're never going to go to that place where you say, "Oh, you know what? This thing that I even have, what else can I do with it?" And that's the beauty of what happened yesterday. Some people immediately moved on to other platforms like Snapchat, Telegram, but some people were there refreshing, switching on and off, switching on and off. They just
Who
couldn't
moved
move.
my cheese?
Oh my geez, exactly. So that's the first thing that I would say. Let's do a skills audit. Let's do a mindset audit. When we do that, and even in the process of doing that, we begin to let teachers know that, you know what, your future is in your hands, literally. And what you decide to do with it is what it's going to be. If you cannot imagine, you cannot create. Yes, I know that to create, you need the tools. But first of all, you need to even begin to imagine, right? And then to the nitty gritty of it, we need to provide teachers with the basic tools that they need to teach. They need to teach. Having a chalkboard at this time, and that's your main model for teaching, is bad for the health of the teachers, to be honest with you. Because there was research that was done, and that's why people moved away from a heavy usage of chalk. That inhaling it is not good for us, for any human being, to be honest. So yes, you might see a chalkboard once in a while, but that's not the major thing that people are using anymore, and it's for health reasons. So again, the skill set, the mindset, and then the health. That's really important. And the health is representative of the right tools. Because if you have the right, it's like my chair, right? I have lumbar support because I need lumbar support if I need to sit down for a long time. And all of my chairs have that lumbar support for me. If not, I will not be able to do any work. My back is going to be hurting me. So that's the tool that I need to be able to sit down and get the work done. What do teachers need, right? And we need to be able to do that audit and do it with our full chest, knowing that we're truly equipping them to move our children, to move our nation to where it needs to be tomorrow. All right, back to you, Mr. Rotimi.
All right, thank you so much. It's just yesterday. By the time I saw that notification that some of these platforms were down, different thoughts came into my head. It was just like, well, they said they said the world was coming to an end. Maybe this is just the beginning of the end.
I'm not serious.
I was always going to say, "Where is Titi? Let's go have some ice cream." All
Is
right.
it the
So
last ice cream, the last supper? Which one?
no, going nowhere. I'm just saying that just to tease her that well, there's no point dieting when something's going to end soon.
Titi, are you
No,
taking
but
that sitting down?
I want to get to this one.
I'm learning to show excess love. That's all I can say.
That's very good, Gary.
She's got the fruit of the spirit, isn't it?
You know, when you read your Bible and you go to the place where it says that if someone wants to take your jacket, give him your whole, and if you want, if he slaps his tongue the other cheek, that's what I'm just doing for Rotimi today. Because I read my Bible this morning. That's why.
Nice one. Okay, so let's look at this angle, right? A lot of people have spoken about training, and sometimes I've heard also in the same vein that people just say, you know what, training is overrated. Training won't do this thing. The problem of the education sector, especially let's talk about teachers. It's much, much more than training, right? I'm going to ask you, Titi, do you agree with this line of thought? If yes, tell us why. If no, tell us why.
I agree, because you know how training is. You go, it's like also going to church. You go today. By the time you get home and someone asks you what they were talking about, you forgot to half of the message. you know so training is a first step. It's actually needed, because you shouldn't be able to flog someone without having given the person the initial equipment. But a lot of it is reinforcement. A lot of it is monitoring. So if you teach a teacher and tell her, oh, she should use you've taught her how to use digital skills, you've gotten a projector in the class, you've gotten a white interactive board, you find that a lot of times when you go there, those things are off. Those things are not being used. So that's why the next level of monitoring and enforcement, and just encourage, because it takes time to imbibe a new habit, a new behavior. you know till you do that, till you have a plan. Training is the first step, but you have to have a plan of how do we do, what are we going to do to encourage them. So it's like you encouraging your teachers to use email. You know that if you don't insist that the send you things by email, you say no, that thing she's calling you, say no, send it by email. So little by little it becomes a gradual part of them. So I agree saying that training, it's not all training, but training is the first step. That's the part I would like to say. The next step is that we must have a way where we are, your whole process is reinforcing the usage of whatever it is that you are teaching. So that's just what it is. The whole process, the leadership is reinforcing all that. Because when it's like when you are digital, but your head of school is analog, all now waste too. All of it is wasted. So I think for me is also that thing of monitoring and reinforcement. I'm just taking a cue from what KK said. If I want to say, excuse me, governor, one of the things I will be telling him is, I said, you want Lagos to be a technical hub. What are you doing in terms of that in the next generation? I know we had Code Lagos, but digital skills is not only coding. So what are we doing to get the next generation ready for the 21st century in terms of digital skills? How is it part of our core curriculum? How is it part of our everyday life? A lot of these physical meetings, which people have, gone back to status quo. How can we, even in the things that we do, begin to implement? Because that's really what helps people to use it once it's part of their everyday life. So like when you decide that your team meetings are on Zoom, then your staff will eventually learn how to use Zoom. So you can start the first training, teach them how to use Zoom, but if they are not using it regularly, that thing will become waste. So I think those are my own submissions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I'm sure Lushola has something to say. Let's also hear his thoughts about.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't say training is overrated. I discovered that for an average educator, I think it's the perception of the people. Like KK did say, mind audit. During pandemic, one of the states rolled out a lot of training for teachers. For my interaction and experience, I discovered that instead of these educators appreciating this training, they saw it as a burden. And what they did was that you must be present because attendance matters a lot. How do you imagine if a government has tried to, train teachers, make them to be better and all that? Somebody logs into that either Zoom meeting or any other this platform, only for him to log in and go away doing something else. Maybe they want me to be present. I will log in, my name will be reflecting that I'm present. But that person who switched on has gone to the market. I keep wondering, why are people reasoning like this? I needed to challenge one. And let's say, my friend, yes, your phone is going down, and you are using data, and 3 hours. These people, they will not kill somebody. I said, but why you asked to pay? Is this thing not for your good? If they are not doing, you complain that government is not doing. Now, government has decided to say, okay, during this pandemic, you know what, we are going to do a lot of training. They shall want to be collecting their salary from us. They want us to be using the money for that. Since we are sitting down at home, they shall want to give us work to do. If somebody has that kind of mindset, that person will not learn. And if teachers don't learn, there will be serious issue. So I feel we should help them. There should be a complete mind overhauling. Before we deploy the training, let's sit them down. I think there was also a training done lately. I think a STEAM training in Lagos. For attending the training, they had to give them money. I wouldn't say that is bad. Attend the training. When the training is over, they hand you over your cash. You go away. And do you know that some of them were excited with the money than the training? So I think teachers' mind need to be overhauled. They need to be, they should value training. It's not about now, but where they are headed. Some of them don't even see themselves as having a better destination. They are stuck already. Let 30 days come, let me collect my salary. Until such mindset is changed, we will spend a lot on training, we won't see the effect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Olusola. So let's address what you've just raised. So the mind of the teacher seems to be a subject matter now. How do we deal decisively with the teacher's mind? We know that a lot of things have been responsible for this, that there's a lot of training fatigue, development apathy, so many things. Keke, I'd like you to, since you also mentioned the mind audit thing, Keke, what would, in our own way of saying it, now what do our teachers?
So the thing is, I think it starts from even the colleges of education. It starts from when they go into the university and they say, oh, you're not good enough for this, go into education. Already, you have sent a subliminal message that says, you're not good enough for this, so this one is not important, go there. They already get that. And then they're growing through the system. For colleges of education, it takes them, depending on however long it takes you, throughout those number of years, that's the same kind of message that you're getting every single time. Even the way that you're treated, it's very wishy-washy. So already it's like we're being programmed to see ourselves as the dregs of society, to see ourselves as not that important, which is not the reality. So when it has to come to reprogramming, which is why I would say to Mr. I said that again, I would say to Mr. Governor, excuse me, sir, please come. And I will show him what it is and what it should be. When I don't know about you guys, right? There's some offices I walk into, my shoulder will just rise because I know that I need to walk in a different way. That shoe needs to make it koi 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 koi. It's just and it's psychological. The office doesn't say raise your shoulder at the door. No, but me just walking in there, I just feel this place I need to be serious. So when we feel that people are serious with us, then usually you're more serious with the people. Seeing is believing, right? There's this, and I don't want to say it's apathy, but there's this general feeling of they will send us for training. This Zoom, would they give us laptop? Would they give us internet? Why should I even go for it again? It's the wrong mindset, but people think that way already because consistently they've been disappointed so much. And so they're like, what's the point? we need to be careful with the kind of promises we make from the beginning. That's one way to begin to change the mindset of people. What are the promises that we're making to teachers, and how can we make the promises we can keep to them? Once you make a promise and you keep it, it raises not just some of the person's estimation of you, but their own estimation as human beings. I am somebody that somebody keeps a promise to. I am not easily forgotten, right? And what happens is when I'm not easily forgotten, I would want to be in that place where, because I'm visible and people see me, I want to be on my best behavior. It's a mindset thing. Another thing is helping them understand better. A lot of times, people in the public school also went to public schools, and that's what they've always seen. That's what they've always known. If what you see, what you've always known, is where you find yourself, it's learned behavior, right? Social learning, we know that. And so, socially, I've absorbed all that. That's why I say to some of my team members, I say, because you worked with a bad boss in your past work history, I'm not that boss. Don't come with those hang-ups to me. Take me as taking. If I mess up, then let my mess up be my mess up. Just don't bring your other organs mess up and put it on me. I don't want it. And so that's the thing with the mindset. Unfortunately, the mind can be very distrusting, and we know, right, that we can fool our brains. That's why if you see a woman, a pregnant woman, maybe, and her car had a problem, you will see the way she would jack up that car. The adrenaline fools the brain into thinking it can do more than it can do. We need to begin to think of a way to bypass the normal order of the way people's brain thinks. And one way is to fool them. To be honest, the easiest way is to fool you with your environment. If you fool them with your environment and their environment looks better, the way they are spoken to is better, they're getting their salaries on time, they honestly would begin to feel better about themselves. The world will look, a hungry man is an angry man. If I don't know where I'm going to pay my rent, I don't know where I'm going to eat. I'm taking 3, 4, 5 lessons, not because I want to, but because I need to eat food. I need to send my children to school. I need to pay my rent. I'm not going to be that person who's going to be smiling all the time, right? I might do it, but other people may not. And so we need to understand that there are different people in this cadre that we're talking about. And we need to say what is best for them. When we truly, like I said, circles right back to keeping our promises. When we keep our promises and people see, they begin to believe. When people begin to believe, they begin to change because they realize that, oh, so I'm worthy of this, right? And that's a faulty mindset because you're worthy anyway. But you know what? That's where we have found ourselves. So that's the first thing that I would say in terms of changing the mindset. Although I've said many first things, but just take me like that.
Thank you so much for that. Mindset is very, very critical. And you mentioned that one of the things that you would probably want a focus on is from that teacher training college. I think we should also really bring that on the front burner. And I'm going to ask Titi the question. So our colleges of education, teacher training colleges, national training teachers institute, and all those major bodies and organizations, what should be the riot act for those guys? How can we just say, you know what, if you were to say it, excuse me, sir, this is it, read the riot act for these people, what would it be?
Well, to me, honestly, I won't read them any riot act. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. The act that needs to be read is to introduce competition. You see, this thing, this life is a thing of value. Where value is being given people, then people rush that way. And then those people then increase the value to ensure that they stand out. So every time we try to, and I think that's our predominant challenge. Every time we try to put something under I don't want to call it a system whereby there's um all I see there
Hello.
Okay, so it seems like it's just you and I. maybe, maybe network.
Yes, yes. I don't know. Rotimi is out. Titi is out. Well, like
Yeah, probably the
you,
network.
yes, like you have said, I think you've raised germane issues. If promises are kept, it has a way of snowballing into producing a sort of responsibility on the other part.
Yes,
The
I
other
agree.
party also feels if so and so has kept his or her promise, that person is responsible. I don't want to be seen as an irresponsible
Not
fellow.
doing my part. Yes.
So I think, as you have said, on the part of the government too, if government doesn't keep a promise, I don't think government has moral justification to clamp down on the ineptitude of educators. So I think it should be a two-way thing. As government keeps a promise, it strengthens the a sort of the confidence that is reposed in them, and educators also feels appreciated. They they feel wanted. They feel honored. They told us they are going to do this, and to time they've done it. I think uh, government should play a role, especially on the issue of
Absolutely.
infrastructure. If
Mm-hmm.
we cannot make certain things available, we should not just pay lip service to them.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we're in the media, whether at a particular meeting, summit, or conference, we shouldn't just speak into the air because, as it is said, the person that excretes may forget. The one who
Mm-hmm.
packs the excreta will never forget.
Never.
Aha.
Never.
And directly or indirectly, we communicate a sort of irresponsibility down. That if the people at the end of Abi are not doing what they are supposed to do, why am I to kill myself?
Can be my
I
exact.
beg. All of us, it be like say we just it is a community of deceivers, people deceiving people. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, welcome back, Rotimi.
Wow, honestly, I didn't know the network was going to, and I was talking. Let me just quickly say what I wanted to say before I then comment on what Olushala said. What I was saying is that I think when it comes to tertiary education, it shouldn't be something that is driven by government. Drive the basic education, which is the primary and the secondary school. The other one should really be driven by the private sector. The private sector have something, because life is a marathon, a lot of things are a marathon. We get tired along the way, and you need to know your goal that drives you to go on when the times are tough. A lot of things when government handles, they seem to have no driving force. So that's what I'm for. As I said, I have no riot act with them. Instead, I would rather promote the private sector, to go into this thing. So look at the private sectors that are also coming up with their own college of education. See what they are doing. See places like bodies like Corona, Meadow Hall that has also gone into it. Look at Teach for Nigeria. Those people that have a goal have the passion to raise teachers. It's more than money. A lot of it is passion. So I feel those are the people that need to be at the M of driving education. And then someone that wants to be a teacher will go to the right place where they will get the right skill that will help them be the best. So for me, government is really about putting the enabling policies that will allow those things thrive. So what they should do is that even though these private schools offer a particular amount, they should then have an initiative where you must give a particular percentage as scholarship, whereby it's to ensure that people that genuinely want to but don't have the funds can. So for me, those are the things that would then drive it. Those are the things that would ensure that teachers go into the best colleges to be the best that they can be, starting with with a good foundation. That's why I said I have no riot act to read them. Instead, for me, is throw this thing open to those that will do a good job of it, and use policies to then ensure that you drive the numbers that would help the primary school section and the secondary school. So those are my thoughts. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And of course, as we bring the show to a close, I really think that we've said a lot that the government needs to pay attention to. I think we also need to say a word to teachers out there. I'll start with KK, go back to Lushola, and then end with Titi. What will be your World Teachers Day note or counsel to teachers out there?
Enjoy yourself, enjoy your teaching, dance, groove, laugh. You know what? There's so much more out there in the world out there than being in a profession where you might not be getting your 100%. Because you love it, love it. But you know what? Find another place, find other places, other people, make other connections, collaborate with others. That kind of gives you the remaining what, even if it's 99% out there, but run with your passion. Teaching is honestly, it is life, right? So don't run away from teaching. Things might not look great right now, don't run away. Another thing is develop a second, third, fourth portfolio. I don't like to call it side hustle. Develop other portfolios. Begin to think about the end to end of the spectrum of the teaching profession, and you'd be shocked at how much more there is in that diamond that you carry. So go groove your day. You know why you got this.
I'm tempted to ask KK, are you sure you check the content of your cup of coffee? Whether it's mixed
I
and
don't drink
blended,
coffee, I drink tea.
or your cup of tea has been blended with some, or your water has been blended with some teacher rum.
It's a serious ginger for teachers this morning.
Oh my God. So we'll not be singing one way. All right, Olusola, your party shot.
Yes, for me, I want to tell the teachers you're doing a great job. You are appreciated. We need you. You are at the center of it all. You are great. You are good. You are a wonderful set of people. My take this morning is to celebrate you. You are doing something great that will outlast you. So I want you to give your best. See it in that light. See yourself as doing something great, something so valuable, something that transforms life and society. And if you notice you are such a great a contributor to our lives and society, give it all it demands. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Titi, over to you.
I think for me, teachers will celebrate you. I know the salaries are not celebrating you. I know, people are not out there queuing up, lining up, but honestly, we celebrate you. If parents are honest, coming from this COVID, we realize that, oh boy, these people have superpowers. They have superpowers. I was one of those parents that we couldn't wait for physical. When people start saying they want to do something remote, everybody be like, we're not interested in anything remote. All we're interested in physical. Let's come and hand over your property to you. So we celebrate you because we realize that you're doing a fantastic job. Yes, we might always bring many complaints, but today we celebrate you and we pray for grace to change that always complaining to a heart of gratitude for the wonderful things that you've done. All of us are products of our teachers, good or bad. The reason why some people don't like maths is because of the teacher. The reason why some people are excelling in maths is because of the teacher. So we celebrate you and realize that you play such an important role in our lives. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for all you do. Happy Teachers Day.
Thank you very much. And there you have it. We have been able to trash the issue of the day and also reach out to teachers out there. So like Titi just said, appreciate yourself and know that we appreciate you. As parents, we appreciate you. As stakeholders, we appreciate you. As practitioners, we appreciate you. As experts, consultants, we appreciate you. Mentor coaches, we appreciate you. Administrators appreciate you. The entire world appreciates you. And that's why it's called the World Teachers Day. And as we sign off today, our greeting is in twofold. Our greeting is to everyone, but especially to the teachers. And we say this at the count of 2. 1, 2, go. It's always
a fantastic,
great morning.
Teacherlicious day on the Good Morning.
On the Good Morning Education Show.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.